Welcome everyone to another interview. It's week 2 of the Beacon World League, and I have the pleasure of being joined by the Damascus gaming player Charles from Colombia. Charles, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, honestly.
So, obviously, on the broadcast for the Beacon World League this season, we've got Randomize, so another member of the NCSA community, and he was saying that for a player of your caliber, you'd most likely be expecting to qualify for Division 1. Obviously, you didn't make it this time around, and I know you signed up for Season 1 but didn't qualify then. So, what was your goal as a player going into the season for Season 2?
Right, so this season, I was definitely aiming for Div 1. I know I have the base for it. I've been pushing myself throughout the year, so I know I can reach that level, but sitting was definitely one of my roughest days. It was just not going my way at all. So it's definitely disappointing. But I definitely wanted to just push my way through it, and yeah, it didn't go my way.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeding is very much a stressful situation. I know a lot of players slipped up, not only this season, but last season as well. For example, Tween qualified into Division 2 last time around. So it's a bit of a similar situation, would you say, for yourself, that now the goal is to get one of those automatic promotion spots?
Right now, just this Division 2, I can definitely compete like I want to, be on the top of my game, and like, I don't know how else to say it, but like try to dominate all the other players. And the most respectful way, of course. Like,
we were speaking a little bit off cam about the NCSA representation in Season 2. Obviously, Neil was the sole representative back in Season 1, and now Damascus Gaming have backed it up this time around, having 2 players qualify, so Nixotica in Division 1 and yourself in Division 2. And just generally, NCSA is a lot more present this time around. Is that something that you're really excited for?
yeah, of course, it's been really tough for TOs getting the NCSA competitive scene like back on their feet. It used to be really like really present. All the players it started dropping off a lot. So this year, it's been a massive effort from every TO and NCSA, just getting a lot of competitions, a lot of Mac packs, and a lot of stuff going on. So seeing that it's actually come to the place where more people are interested in more competitive leagues and other stuff, especially something like Beacon, where it's just like the top level of leagues, at least right now, more than World Tour. So it's great to see that a lot of players have been trying to get on their game as well and be at the top.
And I wanted to ask you specifically about the South American region, because in my eyes, as a spectator of competitive Trackmania, I see you as one of the top players from that region, being Colombian yourself. And Noija is another player who has qualified this season. And more specifically, South America within NCSA has been growing. And I think for myself, it's really cool to see players like yourself and Noija qualifying for these competitions.
Right, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a very small region. We have a very small like scene. There's a lot of Brazilian players actually that play a lot of this game and are also very competitive. They have not dived as much as we have into a lot of other competitive in this game. So as I told you before, it was like kind of easy to stand out in a way, but it's still been a really nice grind.
So just looking at the schedule for the upcoming weekend, you've got 2 matches coming up. Your first one, which is quite interesting from an NCSA perspective, has Random, Dazzle, yourself, and Noija. And then the second one is very much a focus on the cream of the crop in Division 2, where you're playing against Skewin, Scarperp, and Manta. So definitely other players will be vying for those top spots. How are you feeling going into this weekend's matches?
I'm very confident right now. I'm more confident than I was last week. I still don't want to let that confidence just take over and just like have a really rough day again. So I'll be practicing a lot this week. I know it's going to be a fun match, the first one, with the NCSA on Division 2, basically. But the second one is just going to be pretty intense. The top of the league right now, of the division. So I definitely wanna perform there. It's gonna be great to see.
Absolutely. And just from a perspective of that practice that you've been doing, I know a lot of players who compete in these leagues tend to practice with somebody else, even though it's not a duo competition, you know, they tend to share that sort of load. Is there anybody in the league that you've been doing that with?
You know, as we mentioned before, like South America we have a very small scene. So Nats, Noisha, and I were basically just training the entire time. Of course, I've been practicing a little bit with Nixotica, my teammate, right? So it's nice to compare also like our paces in Div 1 and Div 2, and my pace against other Div 2 players without having to do the matches, right?
Absolutely. And how do you find your pace and your skill set transfers to these maps and this map pack?
All the kind of tricks that these maps have, especially the reactors stuff, the very precise turns on Kerberos map, for example, the very tech-heavy focus on Mephisto's map. I struggle with that. I still struggle a lot with that. I try to adapt a lot, but it's very hard, so I have to grind a lot still. I'm not to the point yet where I can just hop in a map, understand in 5 minutes, and just grind for a better time. I'm always trying to understand every single turn, every time I play. So yeah, it's a long grind.
It's might sound a little bit mean, but that's reassuring to hear from an organizer's point of view.
I mean, I'm definitely confident on the maps, but yeah, it's a long grind for sure.
And we ask anyone we do an interview with, whether it be on the live stream or during the week, do you have any final thoughts, anything you might want to say to the Beacon War League viewers, anything you want to get out there, or anybody you want to shout out?
I mean, for the viewers especially, watching these kind of maps, these kind of rounds, and then watching everyone just fly out of a corner, it's not always because they're just bad at the game. The maps are very tricky, and it's a very intense situation on those rounds. But just don't be afraid to just go out there and grind these type of maps. Dive into the competitive of this game. It's really fun. It's also very painful, but that's part of the fun. So yeah, just go out there and play more the game, because it's really nice, and it's really nice to see the competitive scene grow so much in like all around the world now. Not only like Europe is dominating the competitive, so it's really cool. And I mean, big shout out to all my South American friends that helped me grind a lot again, and Damascus Gaming.
Absolutely, big shout out to them. There's a reason it's called the Beacon World League, and you give that meaning, so we thank you very much for that. And Charles, thank you very much for joining me today, and we wish you the very best of luck this weekend.
Yep, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. This is fucking great.